Hello, ladies. Welcome to the Women's History Month Speaker Series. I am Ashlei White, corporate professional, serial entrepreneur, mom, juggling so many different hats, but I am super excited to be here with you ladies to pour into you during this month of just trailblazing strong women. I wanted to focus on the confident woman, a poised woman, just finding the opportunities to really elevate and build in your confidence. As women, we oftentimes fear, we hold on to self-doubt, and it's hard sometimes for us to really pick ourselves up and be strong-minded and really believe in ourselves. And it's something that I have personally struggled with, which I know many other women have as well. And statistically speaking, when we look at men and women actually lead in having that lack of self-confidence when it comes to our counterparts. And sometimes we just think like, why is that? Is it something that we've dealt with, in the past that we haven't gotten over? Or does it make me not confident because I do fear or I do carry self-doubt? When the reality is, no. It is human nature for us to fear things, right? You fear the unknown a lot of times, right? And it is human nature to also carry self-doubt. However, it's what you do with these feelings that contribute to your confidence level. Like me, I started off with, lack of self-confidence as a young girl because I was consistently looking at what other people had and what other people were doing. And I was equating those things to what I had and the characteristics and the traits that I carried as a young girl, which oftentimes, right, it starts young because we have this sense of comparing ourselves to others. Now, I'm not saying that men don't do this because I feel that we generally speaking, we do this as humans. But it just seems that women, we just have a harder time, overcoming certain things that ultimately help us become these confident women. But being in Women's History Month, we know that there are several women who have been trailblazers in our communities. There are several women that have succeeded in ways that we can only imagine. And so that gives us a sense of hope. If it doesn't for you, I know it does for me. When I look at women that I may look up to that are being impactful, such as a Michelle Obama in our communities and people that look like us, right? Whether it be gender-wise, obviously for women, and then being ethnically diverse if you are. I just really utilize those strengths that I see them carry. But then I look back at myself and I say, okay, what have you accomplished, Ashlei, that you should be proud of, that demonstrates your ability to succeed? When we look at our accomplishments, it's helpful, if you will, when it comes to progressing, seeing the growth within ourselves. When we look at the things that we've accomplished, it allows us to use them as check marks when we are looking to build our confidence levels. When I was younger, I would oftentimes look at my appearance. I've always been a slim girl growing up, and now going into my 30s, I'm still a slim woman. And for me, when I think about my appearance and I'm looking at the other girls and I'm looking at them develop in certain areas that I maybe wasn't developing in, and then I would look at, other physical attributes that I would look at other girls to see what they had and then compare myself and to say, oh, I'm not as pretty as she is, or I'm not pretty enough, and these feelings, they grow with you. But like I said before, it's what you do with those feelings. Do you learn to embrace these things that you look at as flaws? Turn them into good. Begin to love yourself. That was something that I struggled with. And then going into adulthood, I had to realize, like, God made me this way. Why should I just pick at myself and continue to, bring myself down in how I feel about my appearance? but not only my appearance, my abilities. When I was looking at myself and the accomplishments that I was doing, in school, and again, growing into adulthood, and I would say, okay, maybe you haven't checked off X, Y, and Z, and someone else had. Again, comparing myself to really showcase who I was. But in the reality, we all have our own journey. And what is for you is going to continue to be for you. There's no need for us to compare ourselves and look at what other people have and compare to maybe things that we may not have, because maybe it's not meant for us to have them. But we have to think about our own journeys and our own lanes. And once we figure that out and we start to grow in those areas, we become better people. We become better women. It allows us to build that confidence and really just take a step back and say, you know what, you did this. And you should be proud, no matter how large or how small that accomplishment may be. Learn to, really pat yourself on the back. So when we think about our confidence level, think about where you are today. Think about how you've gotten there with those thoughts and those feelings. Is it something that you maybe accomplished, or is it something that you maybe didn't accomplish? Doesn't mean that you need to work harder in those areas. If it's something that you feel you should be succeeding in because you want to, not because someone else wants you to, not because you see someone else doing it and you feel like you have to do it. Learn to be okay with what you have and who you are. That goes into accepting imperfections. And I like to say imperfections because no one is perfect. But you're the perfect person for who you're supposed to be. And once you learn to embrace and accept those, it allows you to walk confidently in them. Taking risk. Take the risks that just seem unimaginable. You have goodness around you. You can see people succeeding or women succeeding in areas that maybe you want to, and you figure, how did that person get there? What did they do? Sometimes it's as small as just simply taking the risk and doing it. Now, whether you succeed in it or you quote unquote fail, because failure is not what we like to look at it as a negative, right? It can be a learning curve for some people, and you learn the things that you did or didn't do and know how and what to do the next time you try it. Or maybe you just learned that whatever it was that you tried is just simply not for you. So we take those risks so that we can see what is for us and how we can excel in those areas. And then we need to understand that it's okay to fear. It's okay to be doubtful at times. That doesn't take away from your confidence. And once you're okay and you understand how to maneuver through those emotions, then we can take those as we stride and walk into our confidence and becoming a confident woman. I'm a mom now, so it's, something for me that I had to get over, being my doubtful self, because I wanted to walk in confidence as a woman and show my son and future children that I may have that mommy can do anything that she puts her mind to, and so can you. So that was like the push over for me when I thought about my confidence level. There was no way that I could step into motherhood if I wasn't fully confident in the woman that I was. And I began to succeed in areas that I didn't even think I could succeed in prior to motherhood. The last 2 years of my life has simply changed because I decided to take control of my life, control of my feelings, and how I felt and viewed myself as a woman, as a now mother. And I want to see the same for others out there, other women out there, other moms out there. Believe in yourself. You can do this. One day, one step at a time. Again, I am Ashlei White, corporate professional, serial mompreneur, and the founder and CEO of the Boss Mom Movement. You can find me on social media at ms.awhite, WHITE, and you can follow my business page at the Boss Mom Movement, and that's BAWSE. So excited to be with you ladies for Women's History Month, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this speaker series.
Hello, everyone. How are you today? My name is Dr. Bridget Leonard, better known as Dr. B. I am super excited to be sitting here today, sharing my story with you. Hopefully, you will take some words of advice from this story, make it your own, and rock the world. My topic is breaking chains, imposter syndrome to authentic self. You may say, imposter syndrome. Yes, imposter syndrome to authentic self. Imposter syndrome is when you you feel like you're not good enough. You feel like you're not good enough despite your experience, despite your expertise, despite your credentials. You're just not good enough. So you're just kind of like hiding back. Well, I want to take time today to share my story with you because I want you to understand why dealing with imposter syndrome is not the way to go. You really need to focus on being your authentic self. Who better to represent? Who better to show up than you? All of you in your glory with your expertise, your knowledge, ready to tackle the world. Yes, the world needs your authentic self. No imposter syndrome. So, about 5 years ago, I was in the corporate world. I love to call myself a corporate dropout. I spent over 25 years in nursing leadership. Those were some very, very exciting times. I added a lot of letters behind my name, a lot of bullets on my resume. I had a ball. Well, about 5 years ago, I was living the life. I was like the epitome of Black excellence. Here I was, Chief Nursing Officer of a twice designated magnet hospital. That is the best credential that a hospital can have in terms of nursing. I was working on the 8th floor. I had a corner office. I was making six figures, high six figures. I was driving a foreign car, living in the suburbs, living a life. I had everything but a white picket fence and a dog. Yeah, I thought I was doing something. I would put on that white coat every day, walk up and down those halls with my heels on. You couldn't tell me nothing. People were looking at me, wanting to be me, jealous of me, envious of me, wanting to follow me, wanting to emulate me, but they didn't understand the struggle. They really didn't understand the struggle. They didn't understand that when I wore that white coat, I wore that white coat as a shield to protect me from all the things that I had been through, from all the feelings of doubt that I had regarding my position. You see, in this position, I was the only Black person in leadership in the senior executive suite. So I constantly looked over my shoulder, constantly was there earlier than everyone else, leaving later than everyone else, working on the weekends, making sure that everything was right 150% of the time, because I didn't want anyone to say, she did it. She didn't do it right. And I didn't think about the fact that I didn't do it right because maybe I didn't have the skill set. No, I was stuck on, I didn't get it right because I'm this little Black girl from the East Side and they're not going to take me serious. And I felt that because there were several times where I went to board meetings and I would say something and it would go unnoticed. But then the person next to me would say the same exact thing and applause would go around the room. And I was sitting there like, didn't I just say that? Situations like that, your self-esteem, they affect your self-esteem hard. For a minute there, I was sitting in the office thinking that I was just merely a token child, some little dash of color on the picture downstairs to show that they were showing diversity in the workplace. That's what imposter syndrome does to you. It makes you doubt yourself. It makes you doubt your skills. You see, I wasn't always that person walking around on the 8th floor with a white coat on. No. Life was great. Life wasn't that grand. Again, I said I was a little East Side girl from the city of Detroit. I didn't have it easy. I was a high school dropout. Yeah, that was me. Dr. B, the high school dropout. I was also a teen mom. Teen mom at 15, had another child at 17. By the time I was 21, I had 4 kids. It got to a point where I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. See, I've dealt with a lot in my life. I've dealt with abuse. I've dealt with molestation. I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with suicide. I've dealt with all of that. So life was not a bowl of cherries on my end, not at all. But what I realized when I turned 21 was that, I got 4 little kids looking at me, and they want something out of life more than what I can give them working at McDonald's. Yeah, I thought I was doing this stuff. I was working at McDonald's. I started off in the grill, went to the front of the register, was one of those people that organized the McDonald's birthday parties, just knew I was doing something until I looked around and realized I don't care if I'm in the back of the store or in the front of the store. I'm still at McDonald's. I have to do something better for me. I have to do something better for my kids. So I got my butt into school. Luckily, nursing called me. I am so glad I heard when they called. Went to school, became an LPN, kept going. Sometimes people see things in you that you don't see in yourself, and they want to push you, and they want to push you. And you're like, do I want to accept this challenge? Well, I accepted that challenge. Got my LPN, went to school, got my associate's degree, and opportunity for advancement came up. I could only get it if I had a bachelor's degree. So I went back to school, got my bachelor's degree. Got in management positions, love management. I love telling people what to do. And, that doesn't sound right when I say it like that. I love encouraging people to be their best. Went back to school, got my master's degree. Actually got 2 master's degrees, master's degree in nursing, master's degree in business, healthcare management. You see, I knew that nursing has its good days and its bad, and I wanted a cushion just in case I couldn't hang. Eventually went back to school for my doctorate in nursing practice, and that's where I started to really excel in the world. So you see, again, I went from high school dropout to Dr. B, so anything is possible. Anything that you've went through, I've probably been through. I am here to tell the story. There's definitely some mess in my message, but it can be done. So back to this imposter syndrome to authentic self. So I walked around those halls with all that stuff on my shoulders. See, that white coat held all of that stuff in. See, the people on the outside, they didn't know that up underneath that white coat was a young lady who had lost her mom, who had lost her dad to 10 at suicide, who had a mom chase her around the house with a shotgun intent on killing her because she was high off of crack. No one knows that Bridget. No one knew the Bridget, again, that had been sexually molested, that had been abused, that had been tossed around from house to house. No one knew that Bridget. No one knew the Bridget that had 3 suicide attempts. Yes, I'm a suicide survivor. God said, it is not your time. You are staying right here on this earth. And I'm glad I did, because I'm learning that when I take that white coat off, when I take that cloak off, that shield, and I expose me, I give so much life to others. Yes. So from imposter syndrome to authentic self, I took that white coat off. I stepped down from that position. I took time to find me. I found time to love on me. See, ladies, gents, that's what we go wrong. We're so busy taking care of the man, taking care of the kids, taking care of anybody and everybody, and we forget about us. Once I decided to invest in me, to love on me, to make me the priority, to do the things that put a smile on my face, my life changed. My life changed. I flourished. I started to glow. You see, on top of all that, I have lupus. But since I've left that job, I think I've only maybe had 1 flare in 5 years. Whereas when I was in that job, I had a flare almost every month from the stress. But now I'm living my life stress-free. I am a nursing instructor, and I'm loving the wisdom and the love that I'm putting on my future nurses, because they need us and I need them. Because when I'm working with them, I constantly remind myself that I need to push myself to do more, be more. I can do it. And you can do it too. So this is Dr. B again. From imposter syndrome to authentic self, find time to be powerful on purpose. Yes, that's my tagline. Be powerful on purpose. Everything you do, you be powerful on purpose. Don't let nobody stop your shine. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook. I am Bridget Leonard. Email me, info@bridgetleonard.com. or find me on my website, www.bridgetleonard.com. I am so happy to be a part of your day. I'm hoping that my message affects someone because it is my personal mission statement to positively impact at least one person every day through words, thoughts, and actions. Again, this is Dr. B, Dr. Bridget Leonard. Be powerful on purpose.
My name is Brittany Petty, and I help teen girls to heal from physical and mental abuse so they can achieve their goals, such as attend college, develop a trade, or start their own business. So it is so important to understand that in today's society, a lot of teen girls, they don't just go off to college because they're presented with so many different opportunities. And so for me, that is what I'm passionate about, is helping teenagers discover their passion and their purpose and what it is in life that they are put here on earth to do. And so whatever they tell me, if it makes sense and it's something that they're willing to put forth the effort and apply action and dedication to, then I'm willing to help them to achieve those goals. And starting a trade, so many young girls have told me that they want to start their own lash business, to go to cosmetology school, do all these different things. So I'm here to support the vision as long as they're willing to put forth the action. But first, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in Cedar Hill, Texas. Go my Longhorns. And I'm also a part of the Mean Green Crew, University of North Texas. That's where I graduated from. I majored in business administration, minored in communications, and I also attended Capella University, where I majored in school counseling, which has led me on the path of mental health counseling, which has been amazing. I was in the military, I did Army Reserves, and I've met so many amazing, wonderful people along my journey in life. And so I'm really grateful for the opportunities and the people I've met and things of that nature. But a lot of people always ask me, they're shocked when I tell them I was in the military. And a lot of people always like, were you interested in that growing up? No, not at all. So it's just amazing how God can transform my life and take us down so many different paths and roads. But I'm so grateful that he did that, because I wouldn't be the woman I am today had I not taken all these journeys and tosses and turns and things of that nature. I also have 4 beautiful, amazing children. I have 3 boys and 1 girl. And I have an amazing husband that I've been married to for 11 years. But because of my life and my past journey and things that I have experienced and dealt with, I have had to heal from physical and mental abuse from my childhood. And so that has led me on the path, because after working in corporate America, I have a really good friend who got me into the field of education, which I'm so glad she did. At the time, I didn't see it, but I'm so glad she did. And it allowed me to realize that so many are hurting inside. And so when we're a child, when we're growing up, we have to deal with those pains, our past pains and trauma and things of that nature. And so that's why it's so important to heal from physical and mental abuse, because if not, we end up taking those things into our adulthood. And so for me, I am so passionate about helping, middle school girls, teen girls to heal from physical and mental abuse so they can live a life that is worth living when they get into their adulthood, because you don't want to carry all of this baggage around, which is so important, because in life, if we don't learn to let go of that baggage, it will just weigh us down, and that becomes a very heavy weight. And so it is so important for me also to help others to define their self-worth, discover what it is that really pushes them forward to excel and propel into this world ready to fly their wings, just ready to navigate whatever it is life has in store for them. And so when I tell you I am so passionate about helping others to define their purpose, I am. Because when I was growing up, I didn't know. I didn't know what my passion was. I didn't know what my purpose was. And anytime I would ask, people just say, oh, just, your purpose is just whatever you're passionate about. And for me, I was like, okay. And then I realized that, okay, I love helping people. That's something. But I would lay awake at night still not knowing what my purpose in life was, because helping is so many things, right? It can be helping the elderly. It could be becoming a nurse. It can be So many different things. And then I was like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but I'm not necessarily happy doing it, right? And then I had to realize, okay, after I've been through different life experiences, okay, I like this, I don't like that. I like this, okay, I want to do more of that, right? And so because of life's journey and the things that I've been through in my life experiences, and also having a teenage daughter, it's important for me to be able to help others to say, you know what, I too deserve happiness. I too deserve to live life and be free, not holding on to that baggage. And so today that brings me to my topic, what I'm going to be talking about, okay? On top of discovering your self-worth, but the importance of hashtag staying focused. But before I talk to you about that, I'm going to give you a little bit of tea. Okay, so let me ask you a question. How many of you have a teenage daughter or know someone with a teenage daughter? Okay. Did you know that 1 in 9 girls experience some type of mental, physical, or sexual abuse by the age of 18? And did you know that 82% of all victims are girls? It's so important for us to address the issues and things that are going on. And that's why I am so passionate, once again, about talking about self-worth. Hashtag staying focused. So today I'm going to talk about the 3 top ways to hashtag stay focused. Okay? Tip number 1 is we have to let go of those self-limiting, self-sabotaging beliefs. So anytime someone in life has said, you know, you can't do this or you can't do that, or you are not going to amount to anything, or this or that, you have to let it go. Anything that is holding you back from excelling, propelling, letting your wings go so you can fly, anything like that, you have to learn to let it go. Okay? Tip number 2, you have to stay focused on yourself. Stay focused on yourself. You have to. I wrote a book called Stop the Drama, Stop Comparing, and Focus on Yourself. And it's so important because in this book, I talk so much about the importance of you loving yourself, discovering what self-love is, not comparing yourself to others, understanding the difference between self-worth, self-love, self-esteem. Because if you cannot look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself and embrace yourself how much you love yourself, then you're not going to be able to turn around and love others. And so I am so big on setting a solid foundation, because if you don't set that solid foundation, it's going to be very hard to move forward. Okay? I'm telling you guys, I'm giving you guys all the tea here, okay? And tip number 3, you have to take action. Okay, you have to take action in order to determine your dreams and your desires and your goals. Because so many times I hear time and time again, so many groups of young ladies, they sit around and they talk. I've even heard this amongst adults. They talk about life and what they want to do, what they desire to do, or what they're going to do. But why do you think they are still in the same place 1 year later, 3 years later, 10 years later? It's because they didn't apply action. They might have heard something that sounded good. They might have heard something and they say, you know what, that's what I want. That's what I dream. That's what I desire, right? But they didn't actually put forth the effort. They didn't put one foot after the next to get to the next place. And so it is so important for you to say, you know what, I'm not going to be that person that just dreams about it and not take action. No, I'm going to say, I'm going to take me a notepad, okay? And I'm going to write down step by step what I need to do. And if I don't know what to do, I'm going to look it up, attach myself to the right resources, attach myself to the right people who can get me to the next level. A lot of times in life, we just have to ask questions. We have to surround ourselves. We have to expand our brain, our knowledge, read, listen to things that are empowering us, pushing us to excel and be better. And so my question to you today, what are you doing that's different from the rest? And I say that and I ask that question because if you are hashtag staying focused, then that means you are focusing on How can you get yourself to the next level? What can you do? And so what are you doing that's different from the rest? Meaning, if you want to get to the top, you have to do something different. If you want to be successful, you have to put forth action. You have to let go of those, number one, let go of those self-sabotaging beliefs. You have to, number two, you have to focus on yourself. And you have to, number three, you have to take action. So what are you doing to separate yourself? What are you doing to not allow those self-sabotaging beliefs to get in the way? What are you doing to say, you know what, no matter what, I can push forward. No matter what, I need to stay focused on me. No matter what, I need to take action. And so when it comes to everything, I want you to make sure that you have to be healed in order to go to the top. So I encourage you to go to focusyoursuccess.com to download my free ebook. And you can follow me on Instagram at Ingeniously Made Whole. And you can also book me to be a speaker. Okay, I would love to come and speak to all of my teen girls and everyone to help push you to excel, to be better. So thank you for tuning in and listening to #Stay Focused. I am Britteny Petty from Cedar Hill, Texas.
Hello, my name is Cynecia Welch, and I'm the owner of Cynecia Tempest, a creative agency that specializes in photography, social media management, and events that engage the community and families. Today, I come to you as a devoted wife and mother of 6 kids. Yes, I did say 6 kids in the year of 2023. And I want to talk to you about visionary leadership at home, work, and play. Just as a new employee would have a guideline or rule book about how to navigate the spaces within the workplace, I rely on the Bible and specifically what a Proverbs 31 wife is when it comes to leadership within my home. So a Proverbs 31 wife is patient, she's loving, she's kind, she uplifts her husband as well as her children, and she is the example of who God is in the home for the glory and upliftment of God. I follow the guidelines. Do I always get it right? Absolutely not. But a lot of times it's not the actions in which we have to correct. It's how we react to things. And I know I have 6 set of eyes who are always looking to me and at me about my behavior, what I am doing. And I think part of leadership within the home, an important proponent of it is being able to listen to others. I count others greater than I count myself. And selflessness is a leadership quality that I believe all good leaders should possess. I believe a great leader also inspires and creates other great leaders. And so as my children go forth, it is almost a rewarding experience to hear from their teachers, how they are so wonderful in the classrooms and great students. And I know that it's a proponent of being raised in a loving environment, in an environment that allows mistakes, that doesn't burden you with all these tasks to do, that we have teamwork, that we delegate responsibilities, and we understand the overall vision for our home, that we want it to be healthy and happy. I also believe that a visionary leader at work takes the time to do their best. They take the time to be a good team player. They take the time to strengthen their strengths as well as their weaknesses. And they also take the time to educate themselves continually. Life is just a big learning curve. And I believe that the more that we have the thirst for knowledge, the better individuals and humans that we can be and understand the people that we work with. It's not just about you. A lot of times the vision is so much bigger than you, and it includes so many more people than you. I like to keep in the forefront of my mind, what would I be doing if my daughter was watching? Are these things that I would want her to emulate? If not, I need to make the proper adjustment. What I also like to do is get my family involved. Especially my daughters. I know that they're always watching me. I think about strong women in leadership, how we need more women in leadership, and we just don't have that. And so I relish in entering these spaces where I can speak and as well as do things kinetically that show my children the possibilities of what they can do. It's not about just being seen. It's not about just being heard, but what gifts are you sharing with the next person and with the world? And we all have gifts. And I believe a visionary leader can look at other people's strengths and play to those strengths. We all have weaknesses. So just pointing out what people are doing wrong or what they could be doing better, it doesn't serve a purpose of true growth. It's not really creating a safe environment to make those mistakes, but understanding that they happen. Ooh, and at play, do I love to be a visionary leader? When it comes to playing with my children, I love to teach them that collaboration over competition will win every time. You can go fast alone, but you can go further together. I believe that a visionary leader leads by example. It's not a dictatorship. It's not me telling you what to do. It's me getting down there and getting dirty with you, and understanding that once you see me do it, you have the encouragement as well as the example to follow and do your own thing with, right? I believe in play that we need our teammates. It's not a ball hogging type of thing, that we know how to delegate responsibilities just as in home and at work. And you learn how to have fun. I believe that a visionary leader at play knows how to have fun and not take themselves so seriously. That through fun, that's when the most learning occurs. Through mistakes, that's how we learn even more about what not to do, what to do better next time. And again, what are we teaching the little ones that are watching us? Whether you have children or not, somebody's watching you and you don't even know it. Nobody knows who, you don't always know who's watching you, who's taking notes. So are these things that you're doing, your attitude, your actions, are they honest? Are they, self-serving, or are they selfless? And those are the questions that I ask and implore others to ask themselves. What are we passing down? Is it worth passing down? Is it worth sharing? Are these things worth duplicating? And so that is how I like to lead my home. That's how I like to lead my work. And that's how I like to lead my children when we play. And so I thank you all for this platform and this opportunity to speak to you all. I thank you for listening. I thank God for the opportunity. And if you want to talk more to me about when it comes to photography, and if you want to know how to show up more authentically in your photos, how you want to show up more authentically online and shine the way that you are meant to shine, please contact me. You can visit my website, Cynecia.com. That's Cynecia.com. And you can call me and we can do a pick your brain session. And I just love people. I love connecting with new people. I love people. I love creating a safe environment for people to share their most authentic selves. And so you all have a blessed day.
Hi, I am LaQuanta, LaQuanta McClinton. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at #YourLaQuanta. I am originally born in St. Matthews, South Carolina, raised in Lexington, South Carolina, and now I'm a Virginia resident, unfortunately. I have been battling lupus for a 15 plus years. I'm now 32. For those of you all that don't know what lupus is a chronic, long-term, uncurable illness that can cause inflammation and pain in any part of your body. Research study says that it's over 50,000 people in America that have lupus, and 90% of them are African American women. The common impact areas are like joint, skin, your brain, your lungs, kidneys, blood vessel, pain, swelling, joint, skin rash, fevers. Thank God, unfortunately, I have not had to deal with every area, but majority of them at some point of my life, I've dealt with at least one. I call it the body musical chair system. It seems to play musical chairs with my body in different areas that it attacks. So I had to create in my mind, I'm not battling lupus, I'm defeating lupus, because I will defeat lupus. So my biggest motto is never let lupus defeat you. No matter how bad the situation is, or whether how bad the day or the circumstances that it may give you to battle or fight that day, as long as you get up, get dressed, press, pray, and praise, you can make it. You can win this. You can win this battle with this lupus that make you fight. Your body is like seriously fighting itself every day. I was diagnosed at 19. I woke up one morning and I had a butterfly rash in my face, but I knew something was going on before I actually seen it, because when I woke up, my dogs started barking. It's like they have seen something super ugly. So I'm looking at them like, hey, Grace, Faith, Joy, it's me. So when I went in the bathroom I wanted to see what they were barking at. Why y'all barking at me like that? So when I got in the mirror, I wanted to bark too. I think I did a couple of barkings. So I had this big, huge, dark area in my face. It didn't look gross or disgusting. It just was not normal that this big, what they call a butterfly rash, but nothing was beautiful about it at all. I don't know who created the name butterfly rash, but just call it something else, because it didn't look like a butterfly. So I immediately went to the doctor and I was like, look, I don't know if I used something or something I'm allergic to, but I'm having some type of reaction, So they did a skin test immediately, and they said that they don't understand why I never was diagnosed before, because they said that my body was definitely at war with itself. The good cells don't know the difference between good or bad cells, and the bad cells don't know what's the good cells or how they scenario it out. But the cells don't know each other. They all think they're all against each other. So I was like, well, what can I do? Because, I want this out of my face. And they was like, well, we're just gonna give you a whole bunch of steroids, and we'll give you something for the pain. But it's really nothing that we know anything. The doctor was straight up, we're still learning this. So I said, okay, well, y'all ain't gonna experiment on me. Keep your little steroids. Give you the pain medicine though, because I'm in pain. And I'm gonna go research, and if I'm gonna be anybody's test dummy, I'm gonna be my own. So I immediately started figuring out what is steroids used for. Did my homework on what they use steroids for. So I began to eat different type of veggies and fruits that help for inflammation. Kale, avocado, put more green into my diet, because that's what got me through for the first flare up. So the butterfly rash went away, and any stress is the most thing that trigger it the most. As soon as you get stressed or worry about anything, that's what really hits it. I don't know what it was at that moment when I was 19 that had stressed me out, but I did something, and it triggered and took me down. So after I started changing my diet, the swelling and everything went down, because that in particular moment, it did it with a snap of a finger. But now I have got more educated with my body and learning my body more. I can kind of tell when it's about to act up. Sometimes I make it an ear infection, and I know good and well I haven't let any water get in my ear. It'll start ringing. That sometimes it triggers like that. My face will get really fat per se. So then that would my jaws be so huge, and then that's when I can tell, okay, let's add an extra avocado, let's throw an extra apple in this diet this week. And that's how I move forward. As far as like sometimes my scalp get really irritated. It gets so flare up I can't even I literally can't put anything on my head or just lay down or anything. That's just how irritated that it is. So then that's when I had to get into learning my oils, using olive oil and cloves and garlic and mixing that together. So I do that solution like once every 2 weeks on my scalp, and I just moisten it in, and that keeps down the inflammations from the irritation that pops up on my scalp. As far as my joints and the hurting and the pain, I wake up and I have chai tea every morning with put a little teaspoon of turmeric in it, and that helps. That's more of my quick solution if I wake up and it's like super flared up really bad. I've had some days where I would get up and go to the restroom and forget that, hey, LaQuanta, you got lupus, you gotta be careful, mama. So I wake up and I just hit the floor because I am too swollen and my bones aren't strong enough to sustain my weight. So I'll just be down there on the floor and not a soul to come help me. I used to get mad at God and get so irritated, like, God, why am I battling this? But I had to change my mindset. And any situation that you're dealing with, if you can change your mindset to be healthy and transform what should be making you mad or angry into making it be a joyful moment and an encounter with God, you will watch how God would turn that situation into a healthy environment. Because now I didn't want to talk about lupus, and now I find myself talking so much about it that I'm always helping someone else in the circumstances. And sometimes it may be somebody that don't even have lupus, but dealing with something that they thought was really hard in health, and get to find out that, hey, lupus is way more harder than the little cough or a stomach pain that they may have been dealing with, and it makes them more to be able to press in what they're dealing with. Like I said, I would be on the floor and I would be down there for hours before I can even get up to get dressed. So I start programming myself to get up early. So if I need to be down there for an hour or two with God, then hey, God, how are you doing this morning? But I said, God, you ain't got to put me down here on the floor to get a praise out of my mouth. I'll give you a praise. I give you a praise without you putting me here on the floor. So I'll be on the floor and I'll just be praising and thanking God until the Holy Spirit pick me back up. But I do tell you one unhealthy thing that I did do at a younger age that I knew what made me defeating lupus much harder. I was a big drinker. So with already a low immune system and not knowing that I had a weak and a low immune system, drinking didn't suppress to make it want to fight even more. And at that time, I think that's made what have triggered it the most, because I was in my freshman year of college, and I was just like I was brought up in a very, very, very Christian home. So I was always in church all the time. So when I got out, I'm just like, hey, pass me the tequila and let's margarita it out. But that wasn't healthy. That was not healthy at all. That was the main thing that caused my blood to weaken and blood vessels to not work properly. But I do tell you this: if you are battling lupus, do not let it defeat you. I don't care how bad, any circumstances, not just lupus. But you don't let it take you down. Turn it into your victory and let it be your praise. Because if you start praising God for the bad that you may call bad, God will turn it around and make it into a testimony and actually make it end up being your purpose. I didn't know that my biggest battle was going to end up being my purpose and helping other people get through this, because I didn't have any help getting through it. But once again, I'm LaQuanta McClinton. All you got to do is get up, get dressed, press, pray, and praise.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Women's History Month, and thank you for joining us today at Black Speakers Network. This is Sharon Herbert. I am a registered nurse and creator and founder of Power in Nursing Innovations. And as we speak today about women entrepreneurs, I'd just like to share that yes, I am an entrepreneur as well as a nurse. Just like the woman that we're about to speak about, yes, women can be entrepreneurs. So today we want to talk about women as entrepreneurs. And as most of you know, women have done those types of things for as far back as you probably have lived, and probably well before that. So we're going to wonder, when did all of this start? Well, women have been entrepreneurs for hundreds and hundreds of years. So what is an entrepreneur? Let's start there. You may know about famous women today, and you only know about them because they're famous today. So who do you know? Do you know Oprah Winfrey? Ah, you do. And what about Beyonce? Oh, you know her too. And what about Martha Stewart? I bet you know her too. And you probably knew all of these women before they became famous women in the US and probably worldwide. But who remembers them before they got their big break and became famous? I remember watching Oprah Winfrey on Baltimore News Channel way back when. So I'm located in Maryland, and I know where Oprah spoke on a news channel way long ago. And then Beyonce was just a little girl, but who knew about their passion? And Martha Stewart loved cooking. But who knew that before the age of television, for one? But you know what, ladies? You could be the next famous, successful woman entrepreneur. Let's learn about what it takes. We'll share what does it mean to be a successful entrepreneur. So if we could go back to those three ladies, Oprah, Beyonce, Martha Stewart, you know that they are well known now. And if you're on your way to being an entrepreneur, you've got work to do. So it's not easy. I tell you, it is not easy. But some of the traits and characters that you possess now can help you along the way. One of them is creativity. Creativity. You have had a dream, or you're a great cook, or something has been tapping you about the things that you're good at, and it won't let you go. What about discipline? Yeah, we said it won't be easy. Starting and operating a business to become an entrepreneur is not easy. It's not like a traditional job where you clock in, clock out, and you get paid. That's not how it works. You work for you. And it was because you developed a deep passion, something that you chose to do that you love, and you just can't keep it to yourself. Number 4, motivated self-starters aren't settling for 9-to-5 jobs. They want to do what they love. And you can do those things as well as getting paid. And you've got to have an easygoing attitude, because things do go wrong and you're not going to get off to an easy start. But have patience and be flexible. And then there's Mary Grant Seacole. From 1805 to 1881, she lived on this earth, and she was a nurse. She was born in Jamaica, but she spent much of her life in the UK, United Kingdom, serving during the wars. And as she provided her services, there were no doctor's offices or hospitals for injured men on the fields to be taken to. And she provided her nursing services in the fields. And as she chose to continue to provide her nursing services, she wasn't able to stay in places of people on the field of war because she was a woman of color. She decided that she still wanted to care for these fellows, and she created a hotel. She took a hotel building and made that the place where she took the injured warriors from the fields. I want to believe that this was a preface to having hospitals, but she may or may not ever get credit for that. But there were no hospitals in those days. She served those fellows as a private duty nurse. And there was no such thing there. And she barely got paid. She did it at first for free because she wanted to serve those persons that needed care. So that is a wonderful example of a woman who does what she loves and then continues to do what she loves to be complete, to fulfill her purpose on earth. And some of you know that that can be a challenge today, even with all of the resources that we have. Because Mary didn't get paid, she almost ran out of money and supplies to care for those wounded warriors. But friends and even strangers came and brought her supplies so that she could care for those folks who needed care and service. And that is one of the rewards of doing what you do. People will see you, people will acknowledge you, and you have to determine whether or not it is worth it for you to continue to do the thing that you love to do. I'm a registered nurse, and I have been one for several decades. And today I am coaching nurses that are new to the profession because it's hard. Nursing is hard, and it was hard for Mary C. Cole as well. We need your support, and as you become an entrepreneur, you'll find that getting support from people you know or those that you don't is welcome as well. You want to continue to grow so that you can continue service. And as Mary continued to serve, her hotel continued to grow. And she was able to serve more wounded warriors. And that is what her purpose was. And it does not mean, again, that it's going to be easy. But share the word about what you're doing. And those who see and acknowledge you and love you will share the word as well. And if you are going to be that fabulous baker and dessert maker that is anywhere in the continental U.S., and you've got a fabulous sweet potato pie, don't fail to let me know, because I will connect with you. And what we do is love on each other and give referrals as well to help each other grow. We'll see you soon, and thank you Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shavonne Moore, and I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I'm a brand ambassador, event manager, speaker, and podcaster. I just want to come on here to let you know how you can be a brand ambassador if you're ever interested in getting into experimental marketing. Well, I got my start as a brand ambassador. I was interning at the city of Detroit as a production intern, and I was informed to sign up for a talent agency called Productions Plus here in Michigan. I signed with that agency, and I got my first opportunity as a brand ambassador to work for a campaign with Nickelodeon, and I became the mascot. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do the program because I was sick. So about a year later, I was approached to sign to different other agencies from my best friend. My best friend told me to sign with some agencies so I can get my foot in the door. So I end up signing with some other experimental marketing agencies locally, and I end up moving to Houston, Texas for about 3 years. When I lived there, I had my first opportunity, which was the Target Beauty Tour, which was very amazing. I was able to work on that campaign, as well as I ended up working for Leah Sophia as a promotional model. So those were very two exciting opportunities that I was able to get a hold of when I was in the Houston market. I eventually moved back to Michigan where I resigned. And when I moved back here to where I live, I ended up going full time in media behind the scenes. And I thought, okay, well, let me get this, going again and we get back into working for branding events. So I eventually was able to work with different brands such as Dell Technology, JBL, speakers, Samsung, Mountain Dew, and various other brands. And when I moved here, and I ended up working for a grocery store to work as a sampler to sample the yogurt called Van Activia. And that was my first time doing a sampling event. They usually, when you sign up for the events, you are given material. I was given an apron, the sample cup size, and I was able to distribute the samples to customers at the grocery store. And lo and behold, I said, okay, I don't think I really want to do samples anymore. I want to go into my own field and apply to different opportunities that are best for me. Now, within experimental marketing and as a brand ambassador, you're able to work in automotive, to do automotive events. You're able to also do gaming, also along the lines of anything from sports to retail, you name it. It's various opportunities, especially if you're also trying to do alcohol events. Now, you do want to make sure that you have your tips or TAMS license. I was able to obtain my TAMS license, which was able to be good for 2 years. And most opportunities, if you're needed to work for an event to distribute alcohol, you want to make sure that you have the proper licensing to work in those type of events. Now, when I did get my TAMS license, I was able to work for several events here in the Michigan market. Now, as working as a brand ambassador, you are able to, once you get your foot in the door, you're able to work as a basic brand ambassador. You're also able to work as a team lead, an event manager, or a tour manager. Now, this all is based on experience. Now, once you have more experience in working with different programs and knowing how to manage a team, you're able to work as an event manager or run a tour. Now, what I really like most about working as a brand ambassador is that I'm able to speak with so many different type of guests, meet new people, see what the type of events that the clients are given on, so I can represent their products and services really well. So if you're ever interested in becoming a brand ambassador, make sure that you look into experiential marketing. And with experiential marketing, you're able to look up that particular talent agency, and what they're going to do is ask you to fill out a profile. What you want to do when you fill out that profile is make sure that you are providing your basic information. It's going to ask you to upload photos. Make sure that your photos are recent. They want headshots. Also, make sure they will want you to provide headshots and full body shots as well. Make sure that your resume is up to date. And even if this is your first time getting experience as a brand ambassador, just get your foot wet. If it's doing what I did, as doing samples at the grocery store, or working events that's going to allow you to get some experience, and two, you're able to manage a team if that's something that you want to do as an event manager. Or I do know that as in this industry, as in experiential marketing, they allow you to work on small campaigns and larger campaigns, and that's all based on experience as well. Now, when you're working as a brand ambassador, when you do have your profile up on these different platforms, they will want you to make sure that you apply to the market and make sure that you're available for the market that you're in. When, for example, for myself, I'm in Michigan. I do apply for the Michigan area. I apply for Illinois, Ohio, and also Ohio as well, as I mentioned before. And those areas are quicker for me to drive to. I don't mind getting on the road. I love to travel. So those areas are a lot closer opposed to being, on the West Coast or anything like that. So make sure that you are making sure that you know to when you fill out your profile, that you are selecting other markets if you're interested in that. Now, when you do apply for experiential marketing, make sure that you fully fill out your profile. It's going to ask you for your independent contractor, your 1099 form to be filled out as well. And just make sure that you put your full step forward. And if this is something that you want to do, give it a try. Good luck.
Hi, this is Sheila Spencer with Custom Made Inspiration, curated just for you. And it is March, and we are celebrating Women's History Month, and especially the achievements of Black women. So, the title of the topic today is Empowering Generations, the Enduring Influence of Black Women in Education. When I was growing up, my mother had a message that was on a banner that hung on my bedroom door. So each time I woke up to the message, education is an invitation to be more. That was actually one of my first enduring memories. She was perhaps the first of many Black women in education who would influence me. I later made the decision to be an educator because I answered the call that my spirit and my heart made. But I know that one of the reasons I was able to be successful was that I was able to walk down roads that Black women in education trailblazed, and paved. So today, this is more of a love letter, more of a special dedication. My enduring gratitude and gratefulness for Black women pioneers, past, present, and future, in education. One thing about Black women you will find to be true, that they will succeed in whatever they strive to do. And whatever a Black woman in education has done, it affects the entire community and empowers future generations. Empowering generations, the enduring influence of Black women in education. So when we go back on our history and we look at the racism and segregation, and at the very beginning, how so many opportunities, there were so many closed doors for Blacks in so many places. So I'm grateful for Black women who have the ingenuity and the innovation to create spaces, because that's what Black women in education do. It's Charlotte Hawkins Brown who raised funds, got 200 acres of land, 200 acres of land, and formed the Palmer Memorial Institute in North Carolina in 1902. This day and boarding school for Blacks was one of the few educational institutions in North Carolina that offered college preparatory courses. Charlotte Hawkins Brown, when she realized that there were doors that were closed for Blacks in education in so many places, she was the one that made the decision to open up and to create a space. Thank you, Charlotte Hawkins Brown. Let's lift up the name of Nannie Helen Burroughs. She founded the National Training School for Women and Girls in D.C. in 1909. She was one of the few places that offered opportunities for Black women who didn't have opportunities for education in any other places. She was also a pioneer with curriculum, creating curriculum that was culturally relevant to her students. There was no curriculum at the time that talked about Black women and the achievements of Blacks and accomplishments of Blacks in America and beyond. She made sure that she created curriculum that talked about the achievements and the accomplishments that Blacks had made in America and beyond. She wanted to make sure that her students were not only students, that they were scholars and that they were activists, and that they would have pride in who they were. I thank you, Nannie. Because when Black women didn't have opportunities to have education in so many places, thank you for being a pioneer and curating and creating spaces, because that's what Black women in education do. And the wonderful thing about education is we go far beyond impacting the classroom. We want to make sure that our students are looked at holistically, mind, spirit, body, and soul. Thank you for creating this space. And then as I go on, I think of Black women in education like Mary McLeod Bethune. Mary McLeod Bethune. Mary McLeod Bethune. She founded the Daytona Literary and Industrial Training Institute for Negro Girls in 1904. With $1.50, vision, resilience, and faith in God. It later became Bethune-Cookman College, and she actually served as president of Bethune-Cookman for 2 separate terms and was one of the few Black women in the nation to serve as the president of a college. And what I loved about Mary McLeod Bethune, she made sure that what she did was to impact the entire community, and she's a perfect example of the enduring influence and empowering future generations. Mary McLeod Bethune was instrumental in the founding of the United Negro College Fund. The United Negro College Fund in 1944. The United Negro College Fund has helped over 500,000 students complete their college degrees. She understood that education extended beyond the classroom and empowered future generations. Another example is when one of her students was sick and did not receive the support that they needed from a local white hospital. She was inspired to found Bethune Hospital that lasted for 20 years. Because Black women in education understand that it goes far beyond the classroom. She understood that in order for her students to learn, that her students needed to be intellectually ready, but they needed to be healthy in spirit, body, and soul. Because that's what Black women in education do. Black women in education know that education truly goes beyond the classroom. I think about all the ways that Black women have also been innovators to make sure that we had educational equality, that advocated for educational policies. I think of activists that fought for equal opportunities for education for Blacks in all communities. I think that was central with the work of Fannie Lou Hamer. I think of the educational policy that was instituted by Shirley Chisholm. I remember she was one of the few women that actually served on the House Committee of Education and Labor. Those women in education make a difference. And one thing I've realized that whenever Black women set out with something to do, they're going to make sure that they bless the entire community and incoming generations too. I'm thankful for Black women in education who did research. I'm grateful for Gloria Ladson-Billings, who developed culturally responsive teaching and critical race theory, and did absolutely amazing research that called out and addressed systemic racism and economic inequality for educational opportunities. We are grateful for the innovators, for those that do research, for those that were activists, for those that created spaces. And that's why it's so important in our current time that we take the opportunity to make sure that we center the voices, the experiences, and the wisdom of Black women in educational spaces. So this is a thank you to the scholars, to the teachers, to the professors, to those who stay up late with research to make sure that all of us have the opportunity to be educated. This is for them. This is for those that pave the ways. This is for the pioneers of the past, present, and the future. Because I know as an educator what I'm called to do too. Just as a way was made for me, I'm called to pave the way for future educators and next generations too. This is what Black women are called to do. And at this moment, I want you to take the opportunity to think and to thank a Black woman in education who inspired you, a teacher, a scholar, a researcher, whether you were kindergarten, first grade, high school, university, and beyond. The enduring influence of Black women in education is that they have the power and continue to empower future generations. That's why I answered the call to be an educator, a call that my spirit and my heart made, and I was able to do it because of the pioneers, the trailblazing that Black women in education paved and continued to pave. And I want you to take time today to think of a Black woman teacher, a hero that was important to you. Give them a shout out, put their name in the chat, and let them know how much they are appreciated too. Empowering generations, the enduring influence of Black women in education. This is Sheila P. Spencer. Thank you for the opportunity for sharing custom-made inspiration curated just for you. You can reach me at www.sheila, Sheila, Spencer, SPENCER.com. Connect with me on Instagram at SHESPENC. She Spence. Sheila P. Spencer with custom-made inspiration curated just for you. Take the time to thank a Black woman in education who influenced and impacted you.
We've all heard about the power of no, but have we considered the value of yes? Saying yes can create opportunities beyond our imagination and provide leverage for us to gain the credibility we need to expand our businesses. Hello, my name is Talisha Joseph. I am an international speaker, best-selling author, and the founder and CEO of The Official Glue. I help individuals master the art of networking so that they can get on the yes side of their business. There are multitudes of benefits that come from saying yes. And before we get into the benefits, let's talk about how to structure our yes in 3 simple steps. Step 1, put yourself first. Know what you're willing to say yes to and market those items. As women, we put so much of ourselves on the table, and we usually don't leave much room for our personal satisfaction. By creating solid boundaries to support our yes, we are opening space to say yes more and no less. Step 2, develop an effective strategy. Networking is our best ally when demonstrating the value of our yes. Having a confident and transferable message will train your business advocates and affiliate partners on how they can protect your yes and qualify your referrals. Step 3, have solid systems. Systems are what keeps our yeses in flow. As women, we are master system builders. We have systems for preparing dinner for our families and getting the kids off to school each day. Now it's time to transfer those skills and systematize our yes. The yes is only as valuable as the system that supports it. So it's super important that we build effective systems for our business before we open a can of yes. Being a woman of color in business is an exhilarating yet challenging experience. And although we are constantly fighting for our voices to be heard, our stories to be shared, and our ideas to be seen as valuable to our counterparts, we have to know that what we are bringing is an exciting new perspective to the marketplace. This is what makes our yes so special. When we say yes, we are providing a pathway for our future. And when we say yes, we are building bridges for generational connections. As a first-generational entrepreneur, I am blazing a trail for our children and their children's children to know we are valuable contributors to our economic system. By watching me take advantage of opportunities and saying yes to things that frighten me, I am empowering my children and anyone that is impacted by my work to be courageous, have the confidence to try new things, and enjoy the adventures of life. No is a limitation on what is possible. It creates restrictions and increases our ability to doubt ourselves. If we become comfortable with the idea of no, we are lowering the standards for our yes. By creating boundaries to support the values of our yes, we are simultaneously training others to respect our yes. It has been noted that Shonda Rhimes, a well-known Black female television producer, has committed to saying yes for an entire year. She was documented in saying that it was one of the best decisions she's ever made. I am sharing this information with you today to bring things into perspective. If this 5-time NAACP award winner can see the benefits of letting go of the no and opening the power of yes for her life and her business, what's stopping you? I would love to invite you to learn more about how The Official Glue is empowering women to say yes to their business and connecting with me at thenetworkingstrategist.com.
Hello, I'm Yvette C. Owens, a world-renowned speaker, international best-selling author, and leadership coach consultant teaching leaders the principles of change leadership so that they can increase their adoption rate, retain talent, and build high-performing teams. When we think about change, we need to understand that it is critical that we are able to take on an ever increasing capacity of change because we see it everywhere. And so the first thing that we must understand is that it has to be a purpose in my change. A purpose. When you think about the insurmountable volume of change that we are experiencing inside our jobs, inside our careers, inside our businesses, inside our churches, inside our communities, inside our homes, we need to be great stewards. We need to be able to manage and lead through all of those change by doing what? Making sure it's in purpose and on purpose. Otherwise, I don't have time for it. I don't have time for things that are going to really take up my time, take up my energy, misuse my experiences, misuse my values, not being aligned totally with my values, all because just for the sake of change? No, I don't have time for that. Dr. Miles Monroe put it this way, the late Dr. Miles Monroe. He said, where a purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. Think about it. If you don't know why you're doing something, if you don't know what this means to you, it can easily be abused. And what does that look like? It doesn't necessarily mean being hateful or misusing something all the time. What about if it just means you take too long getting it done? And there's somebody on the other end waiting for your results. Or we haphazardly go after it, haphazardly do it, not fully invested in it, and then we don't get the best results or best product. So what we're about to do today, we are going to really think about, how do I lead my change? How do I lead my change? In purpose, on purpose, because I don't have time to waste. I don't have time to waste, and I cherish the time of the people who are coming alongside me to complete a task, to complete a project, to really service our customers. I really, really, truly do appreciate them. So the more I look within myself and understand my values, my beliefs, and my goals, and I make sure that everything that I'm doing aligns with those things, then I have a better success in looking out for those who are on this journey with me. Looking out for those who are helping me to complete and be successful in everything that we go after. Because let's just face it, everyone looks to be successful. And we're not intentionally going after abusing everything. That would be sabotage. And so we are leading through our change in purpose, on purpose. What's another pillar of making sure that you're doing that is making sure that your goals are clear, absolutely crystal clear. You know when, where, why, how, and you know which percentage of success rate you're expecting by doing all those things. You know how to measure. You know how to measure what the outcome is going to be. You've defined up front what success looks like because you're purposefully doing and going about this transition. Think about it in your own life. If you're going to move to another state, if you're going to take on another job, just don't take on another job because you hate it where you left. I often tell entrepreneurs, they want to say that they're bossing up and they're the boss lady or whatever. But guess what? You left that corporate job because you did not like the boss. You did not like that feeling of having a boss. So do you want to really be referred to as a boss? Let's make the change, the shift that we're going through purposeful so that it's not abused, so that we're not overdoing it. And then, so we talked about starting within. Is it part of my aligning with my values, my beliefs, my objectives, my goals? because I need to make sure I'm clear on that for me so I can show others how to be clear on it for themselves. Because everything does not totally align. And so when it doesn't, we need to be able to find that one purposeful moment, that one purposeful outcome that's going to take me closer to my goal than something that's totally off track. Clear goals. And then the other pillar that I'd like to share with you is also encouraging open communication. Everybody has a voice. Everybody will be invested when they have a voice and are able to express what they're finding, how they're feeling about it, what they're thinking. And I get it. We've run into those naysayers. We've run into those who lead with, that's not going to work because we tried it before. We've all run into those folks, but give them time to adjust. We all need time to adjust to the change ahead of us. And you can box that time. You can give people a space to say, okay, let's work through this. But it's not just complaining and whining for anything. We want to hear the resistance so we can address the resistance. Don't be fearful into leaning into those resistance. And not only will you know more than if you just assumed that your way was right, or that what was given to you was the right way, but when you're able to take back critical information that decision makers need to make alignment or adjustments, it's phenomenal. And now you've created a collaborative team environment where those around you know, I have a voice. And not only do I have a voice, but they want to hear. So as we are nearing this, I just wanted to share with you 5 things that I think are critical and for your success, to ensure your success. So we've talked about, how do I approach this? I approach it from within with clear goals and making sure that everybody has a voice. So first and foremost, one of those first 5 keys is to make sure you are, if you're the leader, be accessible to everyone that's impacted by that change. They need to know that they can really connect with you, get with you, and share with you. 2, make sure that we're coming to the change with a pure heart and motive. There's nothing like doing the work behind something that you really don't believe in. 3, remain true to the vision. Too often we start on, this is what we want to do, and this is what we've been asked to do, and then we go off on a tangent, and now we've spent more money, taken more time. The quality of what we really wanted to accomplish is suffering. Stay true to the vision and the goal, and support your change agents, those who are helping to also navigate the change. Help them by making quick decisions, turning around. And that's making quick, informed decisions, not haphazardly, because you want to operate in integrity. And then last, give everyone in your organization, on your team, the tools they need to reinforce the change, adopt the change, making sure that the language that you're saying and the behavior that's being expressed, shared in your organization is being shared consistently and consistent with the change and the transition you just implemented together. Again, I'm Yvette C. Owens. It's my pleasure to be here with you during this Women's History Month. Thank you, Black Speakers Network, for inviting me to come and share more about what I do, who I am with your community. I love this community. I've been a part of it only for a couple of months, and I've gleaned so much from it. Remember, we should lead change in purpose, on purpose. If you're interested and following me and learning more about the principles of change leadership and how you can empower your team, empower your organization, you can scan the QRC code that you see on your screen. It will connect you with my website where you can leave your information and we can be in touch. And I tell you, I'm getting ready to release a series of executive roundtables where we're going to talk about how do I help the people around me adopt the changes successfully? Because guess what? Individuals do matter. Individuals do matter. It's my pleasure to be with you, and thank you.